Supa and Maokai here. Give Elise over to Yankas. And just deal with the Alistar like you did in the last game, where you... Like the first 20 minutes, we kept seeing Supa crew try and fight against Asus on Alistar. Once they kind of said, okay, we're just going to leave him to push the lane and just have Mima wave clear and kill other people, it actually worked out and they got the lead, so they can give Alistar again over to Roccat. Why do you give him Maokai?
Well, they take away Kog'Maw, give away Maokai. That leaves now Morgana, I'm expecting, I think, for the Super Hot Crew in this first round of picks. And maybe Tristana here. I mean, if you're banning out 2 AD carries, that is certainly a possibility. We shouldn't forget Lucian as well. A big pick for both of these players before he was disabled. Now back available again, and he's not featured at all in this game.
No, been all about the hyper carries today. Lucian is a little bit the same, like, you know, the safe AD carry, fine laning phase, good in mid game, good in late game. But he can't really compete with the other AD carries we have seen today in terms of like where they're strongest. So like late game, he's gonna fall off compared to it. And he doesn't have the same roaming potential as Twitch. In the mid game, well, let's see the Rise. Opa played the last game twice. Mima is clearly discussing this.
Is that going to go his way? Looks like we will see an AD carry lock in as well. It's Tristana picked up for the Super Hot Crew and Mr. Ralls. As you mentioned, Rise. 2 games in a row, Roccat took it. Does that leave Roccat now? I was going to say, Elise still open, and that Morgana that we were talking about, thinking that might come in Super Hot Crew's first round, since they've done it before in this game. Well, that goes over to Vander.
So while Roccat can't pick up their Tristana and Rise again like that in the last game, they will get pretty much their comfort picks. Most played support for Vander is Morgana. We have the Maokai top lane. We saw it in game 2 how strong it is. We know how strong it is. And Yangas gets his Elise in this game, which was banned the last 2 games here. So while they do give 2 of the power picks over to Super Hot Crew, they still have some very good picks, at least for the Roccat players. I wonder what we're going to see in the mid lane, though, against Rise. And if it's going to be Rise mid lane for Selfie, or Mima in the top lane.
Yeah, well, probably not going to find that out until the last pick here, I feel. Take the support, take Rengar again for Impaler in the jungle by the looks of it. And then leave a mid lane, or possibly top lane pick, we'll have to see, for last. Actually switching out there last second from Thresh to Braum for Kasing in that bottom lane, despite the changes.
Yeah, so Braum, especially his passive, lost some damage, and his ulti actually got hit pretty hard. You know, knock up is shorter early on, you're slowed for less. I believe it's now 40% at level 6 you're slowed, where it was 60% before. So the ulti from Braum definitely got hit a bit here. Let's see what he can do. It's actually also been his worst support in terms of like his stats on it. Terrible KDA, okay. KDA and support is not the most important thing, but never been too impressed by his Braum play. Let's see what he can do here. Maybe want to use it to try and jump in and save a teammate if there comes in a Binding or Cocoon from the potential pick options you have from Roccat over here. Of course, I'm not too sure, because normally Morgana is also the counter pick to Braum, and he picks it into it, so a little bit surprised.
Corky Morgana going to be strong lane there for Roccat, and looks like they'll be taking Ziggs as well for that mid lane, so safe, a lot of wave clear, a lot of siege potential. I can obviously roam a little bit, get that bomb added into the mix. For the Super Hot Crew then, what are they going to think about this? Ziggs in the mid lane. Likes of Yasuo open here for Selfie. Of course, Orianna, his choice from that last game, which he, credit to him, did so well with the shockwaves, especially in those last couple of team fights. Was one hairy moment for him where they got split up to have that fight just off the side of the mid lane. But other than that, kept his composure really well.
I mean, they could go Dr. Mundo top here for Mima, and then just put the Rise in the mid lane, because Dr. Mundo has been banned again in the last few games by Roccat every single time. And it's against the Maokai, so he's able to farm, and late game, he's not gonna die, because there's so much magic damage on the side of Roccat. He can just get Banshees, get Spirit Visage, and they won't be able to burst him down.
Well, that's what it's gonna be.
Oh, thank you, Super Hot Crew.
Mundo locked in, not banned for the first time here by Roccat, and that's gonna go in there, especially against so much magic damage there on Rockat's team as well.
Yeah, so Roccat late game now. Corky's gonna fall off, especially compared to a Tristana. So in that case, it's going to be hard for them. You have 2 super tanks for late game. I will actually put it in favor of Maokai in terms of like soaking up damage, but then you just have Dr. Mundo. As long as he escapes the first burst with his ult, he will just get back to full HP. So you have 2 super tanks in the late game. And then Ziggs is a very strong late game character. Can zone away a Ryze in teamfights, a bit like Orianna can do, and like a bit of the same case. Ulti for Ziggs though is now 2 minutes, all the ranks up, so not the same amount of like ulti in every single lane, but still a lot of wave clear. Good late game champ as well. But it's just between the AD carries now, to be honest, where it's in favor of Supa Hot Crew.
The danger there surely is if Roccat start to pull ahead and start sieging up towers. They're going to have a little bit of a tough time here, the Supa Hot Crew. We'll have to see about that one, though. Of course, we are 2-1 in this best-of-5 series so far. So Supa Hot Crew definitely not out of danger. They've done the hard part, I think, which is turning the table after being 2-0 behind in a best-of-5. But now the real hard work starts for them. The long, slogged-out win, I think, having to win another 2 in a row. Hard task.
Yeah, and in Game 2, Game 1, they needed time to scale up into the late game. They're going to have to do the same deal here. Mundo, Ryze, Tristana all need to go to the late game, not fight in the mid game where Corki is very, very strong here. So we have to see if they go for the fights again.
Well, let's see. We're going to get into game. It's match number 4 between Roccat and the Supa Hot Crew, with Roccat sat on game point. And the Supa Hot Crew needing another 2 wins in a row. It'd be an epic turnaround if they could do that, but that is, well, if last game's anything to go by, it could be quite a way away. Not an easy matchup, and that's exactly what we expected here. I mean, Supa Hot Crew coming in as, I think, a surprise number 3, certainly at the start of the split. You probably wouldn't have said they'd come into the playoffs in the summer as the 3rd seed. You might have even said it the other way around, with Roccat taking 3rd in spring, that they'd be right up there. Either way, we get this matchup, and we see that Roccat have had 2 great games where the Supa Hot Crew, certainly in game number 1, struggled. It was a lot better in game number 2, but one fight really turned it around in the 3rd game. So close, right up to the very end, as Overpower gets the first blow of this mid lane battle and lands a bouncing bomb onto Selfie.
Even killed a ward. So 2 CS now for Roccat. So 0 from Supa Hot Crew. But still here. The team who had their best mid-game setup in the last few games has been the team to win, because we've seen so many fights around Dragons, around Baron, in these like mid to early late game points where the early mid to late game team will always win them. So unless Supa Hot Crew is careful here, and they need to make sure they don't fall too far behind in the lanes either. Like Ziggs against Ryze is a bit of a tough matchup for Selfie. He should be able to handle it, but not an easy matchup. And then his bottom lane, which we won't actually get because Supa Hot Crew is now lane swapping. Otherwise, Corki and Morgana should have been able to bully out Mr. Rollis a little bit.
So the start actually is somewhat of a mirror of the last game. The main difference being that Roccat had a ward tucked into the brush and saw the Supa Hot Crew coming in to the blue buff, which means that Roccat can instantly go over and trade blue for blue, and then should be able to just come swinging back across, and it'll be a simple buff trade-off here at level 1. As you mentioned, 2v1s are going to happen. Mr. Rolls and Kasing up top, and down in the bottom, Celiver and Vander. For now, there'll be 2 versus 0, since both top laners are shadowing their junglers around the jungle.
Let's see what the teams decide to do, because we have actually seen Roccat in first game give a lot of help to Xaxus on Maokai, onto Xaxus here when he played Alistar, to make sure he could get farm in the lane swap, where Supa Hot Crew completely ignored Mimir. He fell very far behind on Renekton and didn't have an impact in the game. Then all of a sudden, the next game, swapped it around. Mimir got a lot of help, both from Mr. Rales roaming up there, from Kasing joining in, and Impaler. I want to see what they do here, because both these tanks, of course, looking to just go into late game and become unkillable. But we'll need some time, which is where, in the mid game, because Maokai has the 20% damage reduction, should be able to take more damage than a Dr. Mundo.
We've seen already Jankos, such a strong Elise player. He's done so well over the season when he gets his hands on it this time around after it was banned in that last couple.
Oh, everyone wants to gank the mid lane.
Why not? Selfie on Ryze. They could at least force a flash here if he comes out. He needs to take a leaf out of Overpower's book here and just stay behind his line of minions. And Vander is going to walk into the jungle here, sees Impaler and Mimir, and that's not particularly a place that I'd be hanging around, that's for sure. The Wolves giving him a bit of
seems like
aggro.
Van
Actually, they've reacted to this one nicely. Jankos going to come around. There's a slow from Braum. Where's the cocoon from Jankos? Starting to move in from the side and able, with those multiple slows, to stop them chasing on through.
All right, so Roccat taking the support, taking the jungler and the top lane. Now move them up here to make sure Xaxus can get some farm, get some XP, while Mimer was running around with Impaler in the jungle of Roccat here. So first move by Roccat to make sure Xaxus can pick up some farm, stop Mr. Radius from hitting the tower as well. And Celevar down his bottom lane because he's just freezing it. Mimer can now join in, try and push it out, get it to reset, and get some much needed farm as well. Still need to push it out though.
Yeah, needs to push a little harder, and I don't think he's going to now with that cannon minion coming in. Means it'll start pushing back his way. Celevar soaking up all that farm. So, if we look at the early totals, AD carry is pretty much bang even. Mid lane, there's a bit of a gap opened up for Overpower, as you'd expect in these early levels with the Ziggs, and Jankos started to move towards top. No real opportunity here for a kill unless Supa crew make a massive mistake though.
But notice again here how the teams use their jungler. Impaler went back to his own jungle, now went back to base actually to stop his recall to come up here in his top lane and try and turn it into a 3 versus 2. But Jankos is always there to help Xaxus farm, while Vander recall from the top lane went down to this bottom side and then now zoning Mimer away from the minions and making sure he won't be able to farm here, while Xaxus could take some farm up in his top lane. So while Impaler stayed in the jungle to farm, Roccat put full focus on the lane swap instead and used Jankos to help Xaxus pick up farm.
And they're doing really well of keeping Mimer out of that. And frozen lane down bottom means that Mimer's like, well, I'm not really gaining anything down there. I'm just going to head up, had a little bit of a look round in his own jungle, and then decided, you know what, I'm just going to head down bottom once again. Jankos here trying to make his presence felt by heading to middle, but Selfie playing it very, very defensive. Actually gone with the flash and ghost this time around, so full utility on those summoner spells. Allowing to get away a lot easier if Jankos decides that he's going to try and come in there. Meanwhile, Mimer and Impaler have now teamed up once again after they realize he's not getting anything down in that bottom lane.
I did like the small mind games from Mimer. Moved out of the lane, was hoping Vander would then go to mid lane or go to the top lane. And then he just ran back in to see her. Is anyone here? Oh, he's still here, never mind. And had to just go up, kill one jungle camp together with Impaler, and now forced to actually run towards this top lane because he's being zoned away from farm down this bottom side. This wave is going to push into Xaxus. There's nobody to dive him and deny him all this farm here, so he's going to get everything, while Mimer gets absolutely nothing.
19-8, and there is the wave coming through. We'll see if Xaxus can actually kill a lot of them, which you assume he will be able to do. XP,
level 5 to level 3.
5 versus 3, but Roccat here, we see already, with the duo lane down bottom, as you would expect, gives them a natural advantage on this dragon. Jankos came down, Overpower moves from the mid lane, and despite awarding the death rush there, doesn't matter. Roccat are going to take the first dragon of the match.
And again, Roccat is doing so well, playing so well in these lane swaps. Deny a lot of farm from Mimer. They use the jungler well to make sure their own top lane can get farm. And because the dual lane from Supa crew was still on the top side, you just walk in and take the dragon. They saw them start recall. They knew, okay, they're going to recall, go back to base. There's no chance of our top lane tower to die at this point either. And then we go dragon, pick it up, go back to our lanes. And they're just playing it very well. And Supa crew, because they keep Impaler in the jungle to farm, is not able to make the same moves.
I think they were headed down towards dragon. I mean, they've seen it going down already. They had a death rush ward. Either way, it's a blue buff for Selfie.
Yeah. You can also turn around and look at the junglers like the champion. It's a lot easier for Elise to move up in a lane and push it out because she's ranged. He has some wave clear. Where Rengar is pretty weak before level 6, so he's not really able to run down with Mimer unless they just rush it in while it's only Celevar holding the lane and just like push it very fast. We'll take some damage for it. Obviously, again, one of the strong points about Elise and one of the reasons Roccat loves to play her whenever she's open, because you can. There's so much utility as well. You have good damage, teamfight is fine, and you have a lot of options in the early to make game.
Oh, Overpower just walking over a pink ward. Not really paying too much attention, or maybe he was paying attention, actually. No, apparently he wasn't. I was going to say, maybe you just wanted the farm and Jankos was going to come back for the pink ward. No.
They pinged it. They just pinged on it. Nobody wants to go clear though.
So, back on the other side, Impaler already getting himself farmed up to 29 CS, and he's in double digits on his stacks, which of course do start with that Madrid's Razor. See that mid lane still remains even. With the Chalice first item for Ziggs, standard stuff. And on the other side as well, Tia, Catalyst a protector for Selfie. Top lane is where that real difference really continues though. 48 to 27 CS. We can see that 2,400 to 1,900 gold in favor of Xaxus. Although Mima has just hit level 6 there as well. Not sure how much attention they're going to be paying onto this top side of the map. We'll have to see. For now at least, looks like bottom could be a target for Roccat, although that's pushed all the way up onto the turret. Maybe that's that same thing that Roccat have been doing this entire time, especially when they get Elise, utilizing their range to attack these towers.
Every single time they pick a strong bottom lane, push the wave in every time they can. Jankos joins in, get a few hits on the tower, land a cocoon, followed by binding, and then force members from Supa back to base. Otherwise, they just slowly poke down the tower. Impaler's here though, pops his ulti, he wants to go in.
Gonna go for it, there's Kasing's ulti coming out, they're going for Celeber, but he's just gonna Valkyrie away. And that will be a lot used. If we look down Roccat, it was simply the summoner heal that was used. Ulti out of Kasing, ulti out of Impaler did come out in that one, and that may mean that this three-man team can still push down this bottom lane.
Well, there's potion running on Celeber. Still has flash ready. There's no ulti on Impaler to engage now. No ulti from Kasing either. They seem pretty happy, just pushing it up once again. Lands a good poke, keep poking the tower.
Oh, finding lands. This could be real dangerous. There's a phosphorus bomb. Kasing going low. The rocket not quite connecting. They're going to force the support away. Here is Overpower. The ulti's going in. Kasing going still there. First blood from distance from Overpower. You said maybe not those bombs in other lanes, but Overpower comes in style to pick up the first kill of the game.
Kasing clearly already looking at what items to buy here. He's just standing in the middle. Even at flash. Never do that, guys. Never. Wait till you actually recall, then you can buy your items. Tower went down as well. Standard stuff. Jankos on the lease. Push your wave. Get the tower. Now we can go towards mid lane. You have a Ziggs already pushing it in. Ryze won't be able to instant wave clear, especially not with the members from Roccat standing at the tower. Even go towards top lane. Mima is the same deal. He won't be able to clear the wave fast enough. Send up your dual lane. Take it.
Rengar, Impaler needs to realize this one that, I mean, this is what Roccat have done over all 3 games so far. Take the turret, move then more people in. It's Jankos that's going up where actually the duo is going towards this middle lane. So could be a 3v1 mid and a 2v1 or maybe 2v2 now with Rengar up there as well in that top side of the map. We've got a minute until the dragon comes up as well. Pushing out this top lane now would be good stuff from Roccat. Let's see what they can do. Jankos at least able to get that damage down onto the turret. They're probably going to leave with about half of its HP taken away before those minions end up getting wiped out. Good, decent damage onto Mima as well as they go.
Look here, so they're sending Opo down to this bottom lane and keep Silva in the mid lane to just try and push in the wave. Kasing quickly joins and ulti was used by Selfie. So for now they stopped him, but Roccat is in no hurry. They can just keep pushing up the lanes. Jankos can keep staying up in this top lane. Need to be careful though, because Dragon is coming up, but both junglers are stuck in this top side.
Actually, binding was landed there. And you're right to point out, defensive duty for Impaler up top, although he's now gone away and left that one. Whilst Maokai and Elise continue to put pressure onto this top lane, making sure those waves don't really push out whatsoever. Make sure that Mima has to farm under the turret. 86 to 70 CS is that one. And now look at that, they start to move away. Dragon has spawned in, Elise starts to walk down. We'll see a recall from Xaxus, who does have teleport if he needs to go down that bottom side. For now though, Super Crew going to be giving that blue buff over to Selfie on Ryze in preparation possibly for this Dragon. We'll have to see though. Rengar moving down as well. What have Roccat got planned? They were the ones, of course, that got the first one.
Mima up in his top lane has only been back to buy once. He's sitting on about 2,300 gold at the moment. which he does have time to spend before the dragon because Roccat didn't actually run straight to it, so he can push out the wave, go back and buy now, then he can join in as a happy and tanky Mundo. Because if Roccat had ran straight to dragon, forced it, and had Mima teleport down before he went back to buy, he would have been insanely weak.
Overpower's blued up now as well. And they're going to start to move down there. Meanwhile, Zaza's trying to take advantage of the fact that Mima went home. You know what? He's going to have this turret away before Mima can actually get there. And that will be the second of the game for Roccat. That early damage that, again, Jankos did by coming up to the top lane, finished off easily by Zazas. Gives them a solid gold lead. Now they're going to go for selfie. Cocoon sidestepped away from though.
Well, the next focus, if it's not the dragon, it's going to be this mid tower here. You already see Supa sending Mr. Rylas as well, even though the bottom lane is actually pushing towards him. He send him in to make sure if all members from Roccat just collapse onto the mid lane, they won't be able to take the tower. Everyone from Supa around the mid lane, around the red buff. Let's see what Roccat wants to do. Complete the dragon they want to fight for. Remember, they do have Corki against the Tristana, so definitely in favor. Trinity Force is completed for Silver, so he's already hit his strong mid-game point, which means Roccat can look to force Dragon, especially when the enemy AD carry is going top lane, because, again, Supa crew don't want to fight in the mid-game, want to trade the top lane tower for the Dragon. You just need to go into the lane, though, and not...
Well, got to try and get something from this one. Mima is going to force a flash out, as Zaza says. Mr. All's coming in, will ulti him backwards. There's a lot of damage going to come out. Zaza is going to go down here, but they've taken the dragon. Impaler actually picked up that kill, and the bot lane is pushed up. You mentioned it before that it was pushing in their favor, but Mr. All's moved to cover middle. This could actually be a turret for Roccat. That's a big minion wave. Top wave is cleared out as well to stop the Supa crew taking that. Selfie will be kept away from mid. There's 3 men here. This tower is going to go down for Roccat.
Completely backfired here because the bottom lane was pushing towards Supa crew. So after Dragon, easy rotation here from Dragon to the tower for Roccat. And of course we have a Ziggs in the game with his ulti. Just clears the top wave. No tower went down. Yes, you killed the top laner. You forced the teleport now as well. You lost the Dragon. You lost the tower. Well played by Roccat here and Super Hot crew. Clearly showing, one, we don't want a team fight at this point. We're not going to contest the Dragon. And 2, not really thinking the next minute or next 2 minutes. Okay, what's going to happen once we send these top lane? Are we going to lose anything on the map other than Dragon? Oh, we completely missed the fact that bot lane was pushing towards us. And therefore, we just lost the tower.
And lost some damage on this middle turret as well. And look at this, Zazas is starting to wander on down. That's going to be at least 4 men stacked up in this mid lane. Climate, teleport available could come down if needed. You've got to be super careful about this one. There is Kasing, already getting locked up. That's a ton of damage coming his way, actually ticking down from the ignite there that was used by Vanda to force him out. Not quite enough. Oh, bomb's coming! No, he's out of this one. No shopping this time around for Kasing. Able to sidestep it, but that might be the turret here. Finally, Mundo starts to come around. Roccat slowly but surely might be able to get this one away just for the 5 versus 4 factor. What we talked about in the pregame with Corki, such strength at this stage with that Trinity Force, and Ziggs who's going to be able to just blast you from a distance. But they also, with the use of that ultimate out of selfie, can clear those waves once they come close enough.
I would actually love to see static shift early from Mr. Rylas because they could expect Roccat again with this mid siege comp to do what they're doing now, take down the towers, and you need the wave clear from the Tristana. So static shift could have been an option as first item for Mr. Rylas, but he's going straight from Vintage instead.
Roccat actually just completely leaving mid lane now. Strange decision from their side. Actually, Salah's going to come in from the side. I think the knockback there out of Mr. Rals getting slowed by Braum as well was just a little bit too much for him to get in for that twisted advance and maybe start something off. Roccat, as I mentioned, almost losing the mid tower of their own. That was a dangerous moment for them, and also Valkyrie used by Silver. A little scared of how that was all going to go down, where the selfie was going to flash into him. And there is Impaler. Stealthing up now. What can Xaxus do? He's got no flash available, of course. He's going to have no ulti either, so Xaxus here going to run around in circles for a while, trying to prolong his life. And in the middle lane, surely they're just going to push straight towards the turret. Xaxus goes down. Looks like mid not going to be taken at this point, but they'll steal away a blue buff nonetheless.
Okay, so take the blue buff. Nice gank though in his top lane. No teleport for Xaxus. Should be a tower, because Overpower is not in range to actually ult the wave up here. At the tower, so Mima should be able to pick it up. And they're just trading blue buffs. Has to be mid tower though for Roccat. There's 4 members there pushing in. But because they took blue buff, didn't put any pressure on this mid tower and still alive. So Supa crew responding well here. And Roccat not taking advantage of the fact there were 4 members in the mid lane.
Mima gonna get this one, just making sure that farm goes down, so that they can't soak that up afterwards. And Roccat moving in towards that middle tower. They've already done decent damage. Kasing once again going to get caught up. There's a lot of damage, less than half HP remaining for the support player. But again, these waves just blown to pieces by Rise. Might be a case of tanking up here for Roccat. Although, always got to be careful. That room prison to come in from Selfie. But they've started to back away. I think this may just be a signal of we've got to give this one up now. Yeah, there we go. Recall's coming in, and that is the middle tower. Finally, Roccat can burst through that. But with those recalls, how much damage can they now do onto this inner turret?
At least a few hits. We get it down to like 85%. Dragon gonna be spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Roccat once again, whenever they have the lease and the mid game comes, they get the early towers and super hot crew. Have so little wave there, they can't react to it, and Mima might be in trouble.
Well, he's going to get caught out there. Is the binding. He's Mundo, after all. And able to, with the help of his ultimate, just regen up to over half health. Now Roccat, what is their next target? I think this has been the sticking point for Roccat. They seem pretty brilliant at taking down the first line of turrets. Comes harder for them, as it naturally is anyway, to then break through the second ones. Although you could also argue they moved very swiftly onto that bottom lane to take away the inner turret earlier on, when Support crew pretty much just ignored that big wave coming through. We've got half a minute until the Dragon, so that's the natural next step. If we look down some items that have just been complete, Ziggs now got the Rabadon's Death Cap, or Locket of the Iron Solari was picked up by Elise. However, Infinity Edge is on the other side for Tristana. Support crew are all going to be about there, so this could turn in to a big fight around Dragon.
Notice the 280 carries. Trinity Force, BSO and Pickaxe already for Celebar to only the Infinity Edge on Mr. Alice. There's such a big difference in this fight here. As long as Celebar stays safe, he will deal a lot more damage to Mr. Alice.
Well, there is Xaxus actually going in onto Kasing Impaler. Going to try to get to the back. They want overpower from this one. Celebar, though, at the side, remaining unchecked. That's a lot of damage coming out. Selfie going to go down. Mima is low as well. And Xaxus dives into the middle to get the double. Kasing is going to fall as well. And just like that, 3 men go down. And Celebar's not done. Impaler taking chunks. And there's the ulti out of Mr. Arles to keep Impaler alive.
It's going to be
Baron.
This is pretty much just game 1 over again. Mid-game, Roccat is stronger than Super Hot Crew, yet Super Hot Crew keeps looking for fights. Go on to Roccat, lose the fight, potentially losing a Baron. He's still 2 members, and Smite ready for Impaler here. Let's see if they can do anything. Mr. Rise is pretty healthy.
Oh, Celebar dives out of the pit. Impaler is going to go down, and there is your Smite gone. It's now all on Mr. Rise. Can he do anything here against 4? We're going to have a teleport from Mima coming in. Can Mundo do anything about this Baron? It's already very, very low. There's the finisher. Baron goes to Roccat. Who are they going for? It's Mr. Rose. That's a target. No back. Finished off by Xaxus. And that is a clean sweep for Roccat. Getting the kills, picking up Baron. Now they'll go down for Dragon for an even bigger edge.
I just don't understand it. I mean, you have Tristana. You know you're weak in the mid-game against Corgi, who's already so far ahead of you in items. And yet you go for the fight. Celebar isn't even in fight in the start here. 4 members from Roccat. Now he jumps in behind, goes on to Selfie. He's an easy first kill. Yes, Overpower dies because everyone from Supa crew just dives onto him. But now Celebar, untouched. Just okay, I'm just gonna pick up a kill more. Move on. Next kill. Go straight to Baron. Jumped Impaler, killed him. And Super Hot Crew picking the wrong team. I think you even have Rice. I mean, don't fight in the mid game if you have Tristana against the Corgi.
And Rise, who's only just starting to ramp up. I mean, The target in there, I suppose we could say not all that bad. They got Overpower out of the fight pretty quickly. But the damage from Celiva left completely untouched off on the side. Doing so much work for them. Xaxus, Spirit Visage, Rod of Ages. He's already damn tanky. Can dive straight into the middle and tank them up all day while the rest of them are doing the damage to the ones that are isolated.
And we just saw before here, if he jumps Mr. Alice and he tries to jump away, doesn't matter. He's just gonna follow you. There's no black shield to help Mr. Alice to peel for him. So Xaxus can always engage onto him, especially when he has flash ready. Which means then the rest of Roccat, especially Ziggs with his long range, should be able to just throw the ulti, throw a bomb, and Mr. Alice will go very, very low if he doesn't actually die in these fights here.
So it's an 8,000 gold lead, and this is the question I gave you earlier. Mid-game, 25 minutes, pretty much where we are. A Baron for Roccat, which I wasn't counting on. How do you hold on against a comp like this? The question maybe, or the answer maybe, is that you don't, as the kill comes onto Kasing. Those bombs going to be raining in once again. They're going to try and bring Selfie out, but we'll see here how well the Super Hot crew can hold on. Decent damage done to Celiva, but Baron buff running, going to be having that regen. Another wave comes down, and that turret may have to be given up. It is given up. The Super Hot crew back away. It's another one for Roccat. They go 5-1 up in towers. I don't think they're going to stop here.
And notice both side lanes, massive wave pushing onto Super Hot crew as well. So once they push this one in here, get some damage on the tower, they can just go up to this top lane, push it in, maybe even kill the tower here. A lot of damage onto Mr. Alice, a lot of poke as well. Overpower and Celiva together. So strong at this point. They might just go straight for tower.
Well, Xaxus feeling like he's tanky enough at this stage. There's the binding coming in. They turn around. Hammer Mimo down to half HP. He's not used his ultimate as of yet. There's the bomb coming in. Didn't actually really do a lot there. I don't think it even connected onto anyone. Mimo, though, he's going to get locked up. He's going to be finished here. Ulti from Kasing won't save his life. Blow back there from Mr. Royals with the ultimate. Will stop anyone else going down, but that was a double kill coming out from Overpower. And I think Roccat, well, are they just going to stay here? That inner turret is easy takings. Yeah, Xaxus' recall. He's got TP to come straight back in.
He's just going to use it on the first minion so it doesn't actually die to the tower. And then they can just take it here, push it in. Supa has to run away. And it's tower and inhibitor now for Roccat. 26 minutes in, looking damn strong.
Can't come in to fight this one in Pela. Well, you move too close, you get a binding, you get a cocoon. Twisted Advance comes on. You are locked up for such a long time in that scenario. There's another minion wave now coming through onto that bottom inhibitor turret, and look how much damage is done already there. Kasing's trying to block them out, but both him and Selfie falling low in the early stages. The regen of the Baron bringing Roccat up to full. Mima, who went down, who's supposed to be the big tank in this Super Hot crew team, was just basically chain CC'd and then finished off in that last one. Got a Banshee's Veil now after that last death, but not sure that's enough to even keep him alive here. Roccat really trying to capitalize on this spike of power that they've got with that Baron buff coming in. Mr. Allstead forward, they're going for Mima though. He's down very, very low. Will pop his ulti. They've managed to lock up Xaxus, but the ulti from Overpower comes in. Masses of damage there at the back line. Xaxus though is too low. I think Roccat might back off here. Yeah.
20% damage reduction from Maokai is just insane. He actually stayed alive here. Of course, Roccat is so far ahead. Makes it look even more impressive. And while Mima is getting a lot of magic resist, being a tank when you're so far behind is never fun, because you're going to run in, they're going to look at you, and you're going to run away, because you're just going to drop down so fast. Especially with all the damage from both Overpower. Got his Void Staff now. Celiva going for bot first, though, it seems. Doesn't want to get the Infinity Edge. And already a bit weird he has a Last Whisper. I don't agree on the item. He could have used it to get Infinity Edge, especially because he got so much gold. He got the Dragon. And if you do look on the side of Super Hot crew, there is pretty much no armor.
Ninja Tabby
just picked up as well.
Yeah, just picked up this last second for Mima. And they will be shredded to pieces by that Last Whisper. We've got Baron coming up again in 1.5 minutes time. And we have to also give Roccat credit. The games where they've been ahead, game number 1, they finished off, I think, quicker considering their position than we've seen Roccat do all season long. Game number 2 was not like Roccat at all. They turned that one fight, went straight to Baron, took another fight on the bottom inhibitor turret and closed the game. Not Roccat-esque. They've obviously done a lot of work here on turning these mid-game leads into actual victories on the board. And again here, relentless pressure. They're going in again towards that bottom turret. There's no Baron buff now. That's run out. It's going to be spawning in 50 seconds time. But they're so far ahead in this game that they can just keep going.
And I really feel like Supa is not adapting to this one, but let's just see Impaler going in.
Impaler dives to that middle, but will they be able to have the damage here? Kasing has to flash out. Impaler low as well. Mima will get the kill. They finish off the AD carry, and that forces Roccat to start to back away somewhat. Ultimates used across the board. Supa crew managing to hold onto the tower. Don't know how much health is actually left on it, but it can't be a lot. Oh, Roccat gonna risk it. Okay, so about a quarter of its health remaining. They look to be staying for this one, you know.
Still pretty healthy. Celaver did go down in the last fight. Just want to push it in. Nobody's actually moving up. They don't have the AD carry. Deal the damage on the tower and we'll move away. So both AD carries died. First close team fight we've actually seen between the two teams. You get a replay. We can also see what actually happened to Celaver in the back line. Because Impaler didn't jump towards Celaver. And Mima isn't really able to just run at him at this point here, so I'm not sure what actually killed him in the very end.
So Dragon pick up then for Roccat. Baron has already spawned, so I was going to say maybe need to rush over to that one, but at this point Supa crew nowhere near it. There is a replay of that one, so watch out.
Oh, okay.
Right at the front.
Alright, so I actually thought Stella was in the back, but he's in the front here, so he's the guy being jumped. Then he's very low down here, and it's all the way from Rise, and then Mima throws a Q right in his face and actually kills him. So, Celaver was the guy Supa crew managed to engage on. I was wrong on that one, and therefore at least forced him to flash away, and then he was pretty low, and they could kill him with the cleaver on all the area from Selfie.
So, Baron up then, wards cleared out, and good vision on the backside in case the Supa crew start to move in. Actually, Mima's still in base. TP is up though, and there's ultimate used by Impaler to clear out a ward.
Let's see here. Still very, very big difference.
Oh, Kasing caught here completely. Jankos getting on top of him. There's the bomb from Ziggs, but that'll be sidestepped by them. What are they going to do now? Kasing super low. For the Supa crew, they have managed to push out, take their second turret of the game. They've got Maokai pushing that bottom lane out once again. Still need to be careful here because there is a ward in there for a TP, and there is a teleport coming in. Impaler will be forced away completely. Now they can just move around the side. Mima going to be the next one. He's forced to use his ulti as well. Supa crew having to back off.
So if they actually do want to dance around the Baron, they just force the jungle splash, for them back to base. They have to go straight in now and just start it and wait for the 4 members of Supa crew to engage. Seems like they just want to bait it and actually start the Baron. They're looking for the fight here. Selfie is pretty low on mana, to be honest.
Death brush. It's got to be a briefcase.
Cooldown on Scrying Orb.
Yep, just a couple of moments ago. Now we see Supa crew seeing that sapling come over, decide to just back away. Will Roccat start things off now? Having full vision control. They spot Mima out the back. The Baron is started off, albeit just literally hit once or twice, and then they back away. Actually, Roccat choosing to recall with one man. That's going back, no doubt, for another bunch of wards. Actually, will take himself a pink ward. They've already got 2 pinks down, one inside, one outside of the pit, so they've got both angles covered on that front. Jankos just going to go out there, sweeps away 2, actually, in that curved brush where I read.
So they were dancing around the Baron. They forced Kasing back to base, then they forced a Flash and Impaler back to base, and didn't start it. Kept just baiting and hoping Supa crew would face him, even though there were only 4 members at the time, and Selfie was very low on mana on Rise. We probably have done a full combo and then been out of mana. Had to wait to regain a bit. I feel like Roccat should just have been more decisive and just started the Baron as soon as Impaler was forced back. You have the Zazus, he can tank it. You have even Jankos can tank the Baron at this point, even though he doesn't have any armor. I suppose he is, because he's the least, but decided not to start it. Therefore giving Supa crew some time now to constantly keep warding it. They had time to go back to base. Selfie went back to base, got full mana again, picked up a Banshees. So stalling it for now, and Roccat not decisive enough. They want to bait it, they want to kill it, but they don't want to take any chances at all. It's costing him a lot of time here.
Yeah, and health on Vander as well. Every time he walks through, they just aggro the Baron. And he takes about half of Vander's health away. Starting to run out of wards here, though, are the Supa Hot crew. Sticking him down in the back of that pit. We've seen Kassin go back a couple of times already. Self is constantly trying to keep this mid-wave pushed away. That inhibitor, of course, has now respawned, but back in the base, the AD carry, Mr. Rouse has gone back to buy up, and look at this Roccat. They've started things off. There's no vision of it right now. It's going to be down to half already. Selfie is nowhere near this one, and Roccat, after all that work, trying to go in for it. The ultimate of Kassin doesn't really do a lot to them. Baron going to be done. Is it going to be finished? It's stolen by Impaler, but will they survive through it? Impaler will be the first target. Bomb comes down. Mima doing good work to overpower the back. Jumping from Mr. Roll. Overpower goes away. Shutdown will work for them. That's one man for one at this point. Selfie will fall as well. Maybe he's running, trying his best to get up. Cocoon goes off to the side. One more sapling. Zazas actually got no mana as they try and run this one down. But I think Selfie's got away. There is Braum from the side. So the Supa Hot crew, despite not being able to really challenge for it, dive in the back. And Impaler steals it away. But can they handle the pressure now of the push?
Alright, so notice again here, Mr. Rollins was in base and Selfie was actually at the Wraith camp, so no one was there to fight. But because Impaler is back, they had the chance before Roccat where he was back in base, no flash to actually start the Baron. They didn't do it. Now instead there was a chance for him, he stole it, and the fight itself, they actually only trade 1-for-1 here because everyone from Supa crew just flashes out. Nobody's there to chase. And Selfie didn't die in the end. So 1-for-1 and the Baron. Roccat had a 10,000 gold lead. The AD carry was miles ahead compared to Tristana at this point. Didn't take Baron, didn't start it when they had the chance. Instead took a chance, didn't have the chance, took a chance. Impaler was there to take it now, didn't do it while he was back in base. Could even have just gone for Inhibitor, didn't even need the Baron. They were so far ahead, could just gone straight for Inhibitor if they didn't feel like they wanted to risk Impaler stealing it. So, not a smart decision by Roccat here.
See where that leaves them now. Where it leaves their confidence, more importantly, I think. Like I said before, both of these teams prone to mistakes when having leads. Supa Hot crew having to win this game to stay in this best-of-5 series, to stay in with a chance of Worlds. And we also have to say, with a win here in the quarterfinals, look up your job for next year to avoid that promotion tournament that will be happening later on. Seal your spot in the LCS for next season.
Well, Roccat still now means they have to wait a few minutes for the Baron buff to run out. And sadly, I feel like we have seen it too many times in the European LCS, where people bait around Baron, they keep doing it for like 5-10 minutes, and end up just completely backfiring because they're not decisive enough. When they finally have the chance to actually start it, they don't. And in the end, the other team just comes in, either stalls it for long enough or actually steals it. Now just buying time for Supa crew to come back here. And the last whisper for Celavar here, still doing pretty much nothing because they are still very low amount of armor on the side of Supa Hot crew. So a bit of a wasted item here in the start.
On the other side, we have actually seen after that Baron. Oh, they're actually going to go in here. They're going for Jankos. He has to repel up, but where's he going to go? Down into the brush, but I think they're going to be able to kill him off. Jankos goes down. Mr. Ralls gets that kill, and it leaves Roccat now with only 4 men to defend against a Baron up Supa Hot crew.
Let's see if they actually want to go for a dive here. Mima is very tanky. Seems like they want to go down and push this bottom lane. Nice little catch, what you can do with Rengar, jump in. Jankos was out of position. Look at him. Still, keep in mind, we're against the Ziggs here. So it's not just like push down the lane. He's going to wait for it. Supa crew knows, and therefore we'll just go to the lanes and keep farming up.
I wanted to mention after Baron was taken down, you mentioned already the Warmogs that was picked up by Mima. Last Whisper also for Mr. Ralls, and that's going to chew through the Randuins in particular. It's over with Zazas. He's always going to be a problem, diving straight into the middle of the team. Mr. Ralls, of course, can just blow him away from them. knock everyone back. Overpower gets himself another blue buff now. His ward's already down though inside of the Roccat jungle, so Supa Crew being proactive on that front. Looks like they're not going to get too much out of this Baron buff in the end though. Nonetheless, a fantastic pickup for them. And I think Roccat might be thinking twice when it comes to the next Baron spawning as to whether they decide to dance around it for so long. As you mentioned, they had that opportunity to start things off. They were in the stronger position and then peel away from it, go for the fight. Now they've got up against a Mundo. They've got up against a Mundo who's got that Warmox in there. Zazas actually taking big damage. Selfie off to the side there. Bit of a risky position. He's already popped his ultimate, going for Celeber, but not too much damage traded in either side. Baron buff has now run out as well.
So ulti was used by Selfie and Impaler here. And only Zazas popped his, but he's going to be ready very, very soon. So now Roccat feeling confident they can push up towards this inhibitor. They were about 10,000–11,000 gold ahead. It's like 5 minutes ago. Supa Crew climbing their way back. Still behind though.
Still behind, but one good fight, especially with Baron coming up. Could really make the difference. Mimer actually going to get CC'd, and look at that health go down. He's maybe going to fall. Blackson does go down. Overpower gets the kill. Impaler goes low as well. That's surely this inhibitor. Will Roccat try and push that lead here as well? And finish off the game. Impaler going aggressive. Oh, it's been hit by the binding. Zazas dives in, and that is Overpower getting another one. Impaler's down. Roccat might try and finish the game here.
Well, 2 members dead here. 40 seconds on Mimer. Pushing in. Celeber is very healthy. Zazas once again going back to base. He does have teleport. Still needs some minions. Just got cleared there by Selfie.
Healing himself up. Roccat with those 4 men in. Zazas can just come straight through onto the first minion wave. Once it goes underneath those Nexus, sorry, keep it invulnerable for a little while and use it to tank out. Kasing comes charging through. Not sure he wants to get too close to this team. There are the minions coming through, and there is the TP. Both turrets going to be tanking it as well. And there is Zazas now jumping in. What are they going to go for? First turret is going to be finished off here in just a second. Selfie now coming in from the side. They managed to lock him up. Will he be able to go down? Here is so low. There is the finisher. Mimer has respawned though, and he's now pushing Roccat back out of the base. Celeber at the front is taking all the damage from Mr. Roth. Roth gets the kill. He's then hammered onto by Elise, and somehow Yankos managing to repel out of that. Zazas coming in. Impaler's now back alive. Don't forget, Nexus turret, one is already down. The other one's been hammered away on by the super minions, and now Kasing comes in. Get in the slow, but have they got the damage? They turn around. Kasing going to be locked up by the bandit as well. Dead. Finished off by Overpower, who's now on a rampage. Impaler and Mimer, the only 2 left alive. As the ultis get thrown, look how low that turret is there on the Nexus. Zazas is actually going to be having to go towards Mimer. Mundo finally goes down. Nexus turret number 2 is going to fall, and Roccat are going to win the game here 3-1, and will face Fnatic in the semi-finals.
And Supa Crew, they didn't adapt well enough. The fact they see Maokai being locked in, no surprise in this game here, but then we instantly get the Morgana and the Elise, so they know what's going to happen here. What did Roccat do in game 1 when they had Elise? They're going to early push to your towers. They want to siege them up as fast as possible. And yet on the side of Supa Crew, you pick pretty much no wave clear unless you get an early static shift on a Tristana, which you didn't, so you couldn't respond. You lost 4 towers early on, you lost the dragons, you fell very, very